If our Blessed Mother is crowned Queen of heaven and earth, the universe and so forth, then she has rights over everything that has to do with temporal things, everything. So yeah, our Blessed Mother can make the sun spin at Fatima. It is her task to lead all to Christ, to raise his throne in the hearts of the world. Therefore, we surrender ourselves to her as queen, spouse, helpmate of the King of the world. We acknowledge her queenship and offer her a crown. This allows her to be more effective as our queen, and it glorifies her Son. Contrary to what other people might say, that I think you're paying too much attention to the Blessed Mother, you Shin's daughters. Have you ever heard that? I would say, can you ever love the Blessed Mother more than her Son? I don't think so. The more we honor the Blessed Mother, I'm not talking about Mariolatry. The more we honor the Blessed Mother, the more we honor her, if we crown her, whatever we're doing, the more it glorifies her Son. Because that is her first and foremost mission. Her mission is to glorify her Son. That's all it is. She's like a yield sign. Yield, pointing to a direction. Go this way. It's pointing to her Son. Mary's royal position in our lives. Mary is queen in our life by virtue of her rights as conqueror, because she cooperated in the work of redemption, especially as she stood beneath the cross and participated in the sacrifice and suffering of her Son. Therefore, she has rights over us through her pain accepted. What does that mean? Did you ever think about the Blessed Mother having rights over you? She does. She has rights over you and all that you are. And it's because what I just read there. Because she accepted that prophecy in the temple of Simeon, and a sword shall pierce your own hearts, so that the thoughts of many hearts may be laid bare. We have the devotion of the 7 sorrows. Okay, that's part of her accepting that mission from Christ. She is a co-regent. She's a co-redeemer. She surrendered herself completely. She accepted pain on our behalf. What pain did the Blessed Mother experience?
She had to watch her son die.
One at a time. I heard 10 answers and I didn't get one.
She had to watch him be persecuted and die. She had to suffer through all
Yeah,
that.
imagine that. The seven sorrows.
Yeah.
I mean, watching her Son carry the cross, hanging on the cross, being humiliated, knowing who he was and what he was trying to do, and this is what was happening. I mean, you mothers would know pain from your children, right? What other pains did she have?
But she actually experienced the same pain Jesus did when he died. She accepted that.
She accepted that fully, yes. She had to accept the Father's will there. This is the Father's will, so she accepted that. So that meant, in other words, vicariously, she accepted what he had to endure. So maybe that took on manifestations even physically, emotionally, psychologically.
Wouldn't she have pain from whatever, when we experience pain or when we turn away from God, she would experience that pain?
Yes. Nothing brings our mother more sorrow than when we turn away from her. For 15 years when I'm wandering around doing my own thing and ignoring Christ's call, that pained her. But she knew. Jewish moms have a way of emphasizing and making things happen. She did it at Cana.
As a mother, you know, his pain was so physical and spiritual that for her, it's almost a worse pain if you can imagine that. To watch someone you love suffer like that, you would rather be there.
Because you would want to take it away, right?
I would. Oh, give it to me. That's why I
It's-
love our unity.
I think that's how a mother is.
Yes, that's how a mother, so, but she was not allowed to do that. She could not do that. Oh, yeah. I mean, we can think of a million reasons for her suffering, even in this day and age. You know, why is she suffering?
I think of suffering too for her, even when Jesus was born. She knew he was the king and he was the savior, and she knew he would suffer when she brought him into the world.
Born in a lowly manger.
Yeah, I mean, the church will talk about how did the Blessed Mother come to full knowledge of her mission and so forth. We don't know all that. She would have been very versed in scriptures, in the Hebrew scriptures, so she would have known the prophecies. She would have known. But when Gabriel said to her who this would be, then she's already going to start thinking, like, making connections. And then when she starts seeing things unfold, like the 7 sorrows happening, Simeon, the flight into Egypt, lost in the temple, all those things. When she started seeing those things, she could see that. But nothing pains her more than when her children are not where they belong. And every human being is a child of Mary, even if they do not recognize it. Even if they hate her son. Even if they're not even a Christian. She's still the mother of all the living. She is the new Eve. You know, I bet that was a glorious reunion when the old Eve and the new Eve met. I bet that was one glorious celebration right there, that meeting. More than Elizabeth and our Blessed Mother in that visitation. Because we know what happened with Adam and Eve. And we know that our Blessed Mother, the woman of Genesis, the woman of the book of Revelation, and the Gospel of John, fulfilled what was supposed to happen. It's still all in God's plan. We acknowledge her rights over us because we have experienced her love and power in our lives. Mary is queen, for God made her queen. He has given her sovereignty, power, position, and duties. Okay. Then on the next page, we call Mary queen and crown her because we experience her power and love. 3 examples from Father Kentennick's life. The inner battles that he had during the time of his studies. Okay. Dachau. The clash with the church. The period of exile. Okay, 14 years. We call Mary queen and crown her because of our needs. The needs of the church. In our efforts to crown her, Mary unites as her children. Us as her children, I should say. We expect an answer from her when we crown. Did you know that? When you crown her, you're expecting her to do something. She's more than willing to do what we're expecting, and we're willing to even accept it. Maybe the Blessed Mother is calling us to crown her now for a specific reason. As you'll see, when you crown her, it gives her more power. She will glorify herself more, manifest herself to the world. She unites us. The coronation builds a kingdom of freedom. How come you're turning the page when I don't? I'll have to ask Christine tomorrow. She must have gave you a different type. I know what she did. She gave me a bigger type because of my eyes. I'm over 60.
Yeah, we should have a real big one.
Every time we crown the Blessed Mother, it has a personal meaning for us. We don't do this nonchalantly, just because it looks good on the MTA. I'm going to put this crown on here because it really looks cool. That's not why we do it. Okay? It might look cool, but I mean, there's a reason why we're doing this. We do not crown our queen without a reason. When we offer our mother a crown, it might be for an urgent petition. You don't have to raise your hand, but think about how many of you have maybe an urgent petition right now in your life. You know, I'm still hearing people, you know the Blessed Mother's grocery list? Okay, well this is going to be more effective than that. I'm still hearing people writing their petitions on the grocery list. Father, I put down on the groceries list, a week later it's not a grocery list, it's the list. Work list, that's it. I ate dinner, I'm groceries, where did I get that?
You've been thinking about lemon.
I know why. Miss Sister Marie Day said that one time. Yeah, I shouldn't start grocery list. But I'm still hearing people put something down and they're getting their prayers answered on that. You know, you forgot what you wrote down. You write it down and you put it on your home shrine altar, whatever. You got it right there. You forget about it, and then she's not forgetting it. You know, this is a part of the deepening of this covenant relationship with our mother, that all these ceremonies that are going on, this deepening is acknowledging and understanding that how seriously the Blessed Mother takes this relationship. And that if we are her children, you'll find out we are her royal children, she takes great pride in that, and she will never let us down. Never let us down. Unless you ask for something really good. Okay. In the deepest meaning of the word, the gift of a crown symbolizes the offering of our lives to the Blessed Mother. When we pray, my Queen, my Mother, I give myself entirely to you, when we do that, and we crown the Blessed Mother, we are offering her our whole lives. Okay? Depending on the depth of our relationship with Our Lady of Schoenstatt, this gift of ourselves symbolized in a crown can include many things. The symbolism of the crown typically accords with the title under which the MTA is honored as Queen. Each crown is thus unique, depending on whether we crown Mary as Queen of Peace, Queen of my home, Queen of the garage mess, Queen of the Holy Hope, Queen of Unity, Queen of my vocation, Queen of my finances, Queen of my marriage. The variety of Marian crowns and titles matches the infinite variety of our human needs and Mary's endless fullness of grace. In Schoenstatt, its history, the practice of crowning the MTA as Queen has brought wonderful and mysterious results. When you crown our MTA in your home shrine, expect results. Why would we expect results? Because she wants us to exercise faith. Nothing was more demeaning to our Lord than the lack of faith. You heard that in the Gospels many times. He groaned, he sighed at their lack of faith. It's the same way with our Blessed Mother. I would imagine most of us, growing up, when we have given in our own childlike ways responsibilities to our own earthly mothers, we depend on them to take care of that, right? They would never let us down, and they would not want to. Crowning the Blessed Mother in our homes is an act of consecration to her. We acknowledge her queenly dignity and power, and we are asking her to rule in our hearts and to govern our family. So you see how this is getting a little deeper and deeper? It's not just slapping a pretty crown on the Blessed Mother. There is responsibilities and duties with the crowning in Schoenstatt. She will gladly accept the crown, but her effectiveness depends upon our response. Not only does the Blessed Mother accept the self-offering of her children and act on their behalf, but as Father Kentenich liked to put it, she always gives a crown for a crown. Have you heard that expression before? A crown for a crown? That's particular to Schoenstatt. In return for visible crowns that our Mother and Queen places invisible crowns on the heads of her children, making them royal children of a royal mother. Our Blessed Mother doesn't have any illegitimate children.
So each time you crown her, she crowns us back? Every time?
Wow, but you don't necessarily need the crown. What do you do? Write down your petition or whatever, and then you ask Mary for that petition, and that's a crown for a crown?
The crown for the crown is when we crown her, we're crowning for a particular reason. And like we've been discussing here, is when you crown her, you're acknowledging her as queen. And if she's a queen, then she's royal.
So each time you want to crown her, then you ask her?
No, she does this automatic. You crown her, you might have a particular reason why you're crowning her. You do have a reason. And you do have a title why you're crowning her.
How would you do it more than once, though?
You could crown her 50 times tomorrow. You can crown her as often as you want. You're going to crown her the queen of your finances. You're going to crown her the queen of your marriage. You're going to crown her queen of your grandchildren's problems, whatever the things are. Okay, but every time what she's asking is, when you crown her, though, she crowns you, though.
That's important.
Because she wants you to know, she's letting you know, now we're not getting, I don't visibly get this put on my head. I mean, this is something spiritually done. But she wants to make us her royal children, and sometimes we don't act like that.
Why did you only crown her one time?
Because that was the biggest monumental hurdle I've ever had in my life. And everything else past beyond that was a piece of cake, if you will.
So it's okay to crown her several times?
Yeah.
It's okay to just crown her one time? So it's a spiritual act of surrender, right?
Every time you crown her, you're surrendering your complete self to her. Okay? And she in turn crowns us. Because we can always grow in virtue and holiness. So we're becoming royal over time. Over time. Doesn't happen all at once.
So are you saying you could put the crown on her and then take it off another day and say, I'm crowning you again? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Or you can do it in
Or
your
just
mentally.
once. Yeah, just
Like Father Kentenich in Dhaka.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've only done it once, and it was the physical crowning. Okay. But I will crown her again now, since we're talking about all this, and I have reasons for that. But I have to work up, a title for that and so forth. And but yeah, what do you think about that? A crown for a crown.
I think it puts a little bit more responsibility on us, because when she crowns us, we really gotta step up. We gotta be her royal children.
But as the queen, she will not leave us empty-handed. She will give us the grace to be able to, that befits royalty. She wants us to act like royal children because we have a certain dignity as a child of God. She has that. She has the ability to get us to that position. In heaven, we're all saints. They all have royal dignity. They all have inherited the crown that St. Paul talks about. I press on to the crown that awaits me on high. Okay, we're all pressing towards that end. She wants to help that along. Father Kentenich realized that we have a powerful aid here in our MTA when we crown her, and she wants to give us something back as well. So you can grow in your own personal holiness by doing this. Now that doesn't mean you can crown her 50 times in an hour.
Would it almost be like when we go to confession and receive graces to be better? That every time she crowns us, we receive that grace from her to improve or, to do better in our life.
Yeah, I like the idea when you crown her that maybe we have a particular reason why we're crowning her, but then you throw, part of this is also your personal ideal, your particular examen. This is all a part of it. I don't know if some of you maybe are not familiar with that terminology, okay, but anyhow, you can say, I need to grow in holiness in this particular area. And that could be mentioned like in your own coronation prayer that, yes, I am crowning for this reason for my family. But on a side note here, when you crown me, Blessed Mother, I want to grow in this area of my own life. I need help in this area of my life. How much more would she want to do that than we asking?
So what you're promising in that case is not necessarily related to what you're crowning her for. Like
Correct.
You may crown her for finances or whatever, but
Yeah.
what you're promising to do could be something different.
Yeah, and you can even leave that open-ended and say to her, Mother, I'm crowning you queen of my finances. That's a temporal thing. That means nothing in heaven. Well, other than our well-being and care, that does. But this is all temporal. This is all will pass. But she knows you can leave it open-ended by saying, but I want you to give me, when you crown me, I want you to give me a special stone in the crown of your choice, of your choosing. She might think, you need to be more humble because you're way too proud. So let's work on the virtue of humility, the queen of all virtues. Let's work on that. Or whatever it is. You can ask for something specific for yourself that you're aware of. I have this habit of talking about other people when I get with my friends. And I know I shouldn't be doing that in a negative way. I really want to lick this. I've been doing this for years. That's this jewel over here. So you can ask her for that. You cannot lose in this coronation. You cannot lose. You're raising the Mother of God up, she's going to raise us up. You make her known, she's going to make the saintliness in you come out, make that known.